Got a question for you.
What's up?
What do you think happens after you die? You ever thought about it?
I yes, I did.
What do you think?
I believe we will be all resurrected, and that we will be judged by God. Some go to hell and some go to heaven. That's what I believe in.
You die today, where will you end up? Heaven or hell?
If I die today,
Yeah, after you're judged, where will you end up? Heaven or hell?
like that's a very hard question to ask. Like, are you saying like what I think where I would end up, or where my creator would send me?
Where will you end up? What do you think?
Honestly, bro, I did a lot of fucked up shit growing up.
Uh-huh. So if God asked you, why should I let you in heaven, what would you say?
That's a very hard question to ask. I mean, to answer.
So you don't
Everybody
know.
would everybody would obviously say heaven. You know what I mean? But to be honest with you, bro, like I don't have blood on my hand or anything like that. It's just minor sins, But in my religion, they said God is forgiven if you're trying to change yourself, And I'm trying to change myself, but like, honestly, bro, I don't live by the religion like how I'm supposed to. So I would say hell.
Hey, you're honest.
I
Is
would
it
say
about
hell
what
because
is it about what you do for God that gets you to heaven or what God did for you?
what I do for God, because I didn't follow His scriptures. I didn't follow. He tells us. He told us what's sinful and what's not sinful. You know what I mean? And like, but God, don't get me wrong. God is the most forgiving, most merciful. But I turn my eyes the other way. You know what I mean? I keep committing sins.
Yeah? Are you Muslim or Christian or what?
I'm Muslim.
So you know the great balancing scale?
Yes.
So if you did a test, where would you end up on the balancing scale? You said hell, right?
Hell.
Does that concern you?
It does concern me.
What if you end up in hell forever with no escape? Wouldn't that be tragic?
It would be tragic.
Let me
I
give
have to live with it. I have to live with it.
let me give you an example. Let's say you do a crime and the
Yeah.
police catch you. They take you to the
Yeah.
judge. If the
Yeah.
judge is just, he's got to punish you for the crime, right?
Yes.
Just like the balancing scale.
Exactly. That's why
Well,
I'm not in denial. You know what I mean?
what if you
I'm not.
say what if you say to the judge, "Look, judge, I know I did a lot of bad things, but you know what? I'm going to do some good stuff. I'm going to help people, so you should let me out of jail." You think the judge is going to do that?
It depends on your history, right? Because I could commit sin and repent to God, and go back to that sin, but I'm not forgetting God. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
If he doesn't punish you, he has to punish you though, right? He can't just let you go free, right?
No, he can't.
Or else there would be no justice.
Exactly.
But the problem is you and me, nobody's perfect. We do piles of sins. So justice has to be done somehow.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But at the same time, God is merciful, and
Yeah, you're right.
if,
The mercy and the justice have to balance out, right?
exactly.
So
But God knows my true intentions, and God can know if I'm a hypocrite. God knows all. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true. Let me give you an
that's why
example.
I would love to be in heaven, but I chose hell because I'm being true to myself. I'm not living what God told us to do. You know what I mean? Be kind to
Yeah,
each other.
you're
Stay away from this. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, bro.
you're an honest guy. Let me give you an example. Like
Yeah,
let's say if you went to my house and you smashed
yeah,
my TV and you
yeah,
smashed my windows, maybe intentionally or accidentally, you go to jail, right?
yes,
But let's say you need to bail out of jail, but you don't have any money.
yeah,
And if I take you to court, you have to pay for the damages that you did to my TV and the window, right?
Correct.
But the guy that you are, let's say that you feel sorry. You're like, you know what? You feel remorse. You say, look, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I'm really sorry. I can't pay the
Yeah.
debt. Please forgive me. So I will say, you know what? Okay, I like you. I forgive you. I'm going to bail you out and I'm not going to
Yeah.
take you to court. You're forgiven. But I still have to
Yeah.
pay for the damages, right? I still got to pay for that TV.
Exactly.
But you, since you asked for forgiveness, you know what? I feel compassion towards you. I see you're genuine. You're a nice guy. I cancel your debt. I pay it. I have to restore the TV in the window, but I also
Yeah.
pay your bill. That forgiveness, it comes at a cost.
Exactly.
It costs me because I'm willing to pay for your debt so you could go free. So
Ex-
God is a balance of those two things. He's just, right? But he's also
yeah.
forgiving. The two things have to balance out. If he forgives you without punishing you, then he's not just. If he
You're,
punishes you without forgiving you, then he's not merciful.
yeah.
So
That
here,
kind of contradicts itself. Yeah.
right, here's the interesting thing. Now this is something you may have never heard before, but in the Bible, what Jesus does is he says, look, the sins that you do, all those bad things that you pile up on that balancing scale, that's a debt. It's a big debt. When you sin, you die. That is your debt. If
I have
you
a question for you. Do you believe that Jesus is God's son?
Let me keep going. I'll explain this to you and I'll answer that too, but this will make sense to you. So when you do all the sins that you do in your life, me too, all of that is a big debt. And one day, all that debt leads to death. We're all going to die. There's nothing we can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you die, you won't live. But God, he loves you. He wants you to live. So what he does to balance that is he pays the debts for you. He decides
Yeah.
to pay the debt for you. We have a problem though because God is a spirit. Jesus as God is a spirit. He's not a man. So what he did to solve it was to become a man. For you to pay your debt, human death needs to happen. You remember like in the old Bible they had to sacrifice an animal to pay for the sins?
Yeah.
So that idea is that the debt has to be paid somehow. But how can Jesus pay your debt? So what he did is he volunteered to die as a payment for your death. He took your place. That's what the cross is about. So if Jesus is a spirit, he wants to pay your debt. How can he do it? The only way he can do that is by becoming a human and dying. That's what he did. If his payment is accepted, the debt is canceled. If the debt is canceled, that means death is canceled. And that's why Jesus rose from the dead.